Hello nice humans. It has been a while since I've made a video and I thought this would be a nice way to come back. It's September, we're all sort of getting excited about the journals and planners that we're going to be using in the upcoming year, making some plans and I just thought it would be good to share what has been working for me this year. This is in no way a prescriptive kind of, this is the best way to keep journals. This is totally personal. It's what works for me and my various kind of needs, likes, idiosyncrasies, the things that I enjoy doing and the things that I need. So that's basically all I'm gonna say in terms of recommendations. Like, take what works if you like and do it yourself, but obviously please don't think that this is me saying this is the way to journal, because everyone is different. So the first one I want to show you is this one. This is my daily journal. So I am a writer. I'm somebody who writes for a whole bunch of different reasons. So it is really important for me as a person to write every day. And this is my bare minimum must write in this every day. And because it is my bare minimum, I want to make sure that it's really accessible. So even on a day when I have no energy, I'm super miserable, like I'm struggling with, you know, life, I can pick this up and do the thing that I need to do. So this is a Hobonichi cousin of Vec, and I have it in this cover, which is by obviously Hobonichi, but it's the classic fabrics range. There are a few of them. There's a new one this year actually, which I have purchased, which I'm really excited to get in the post in the next couple of days, because I really love these ones. They've got really pretty floral, vintagey kind of designs on them, and that's very much my jam. And I have a cover on it because it's really light colored and I don't want it to get grubby because it is in such high use. I actually have this print. I bought it as a tote bag as well because I love it so much, that pink floral. It's within grasping distance, so I'm going to show you. Yes, there's a tote bag that is the same. So I'm obviously a big fan of this one. Yeah, so this is my everyday journal. And so what I do in this one is, see, I've just got a few things tucked in here. I've got this is a Polaroid photo of sonnet number 116, which is the poem that one of my oldest friends read at my wedding, our wedding, Sarah Jane's and my wedding. So that's in there. That's a poem that is precious to me. This is a little card that Brandy sent to me in some mail. Photo of Artie, a cute sticker that I liked, and just some little loose bits of paper. This isn't super functional, it's just stuff that I like. I don't use this as like a dashboard or anything the way some people do. It's just some things that are stuck in there. So what I do is I write in here every day. And because I do it every day, I don't have expectations around it needing to be profound. I don't have to have something important to say. A lot of the time it ends up just being reportage. It'll be things like, you know, today Artie had netball training in the afternoon and it was raining and he played in the rain. Then he came home and we had hot chocolates for dinner. We usually have hot chocolates for dinner, before dinner to warm up, you know, that kind of thing. It's sort of partly memory keeping, but I'll sometimes also write feelings in here as well. But it's 1 page per day, so I don't have like the space to really get into things in detail and in depth, so I do that in another place. This is just make sure every day you put pen to paper. The things that help me do this are having a journal that I love. I want to reach for this because it is beautiful, and I know that I'm somebody who's motivated by things that are pretty, so that helps me. It's part of how I guess essentially trick myself into doing this thing that I know is good for me even when I don't feel like it. Another thing that helps is using fountain pens. I love the way that fountain pens work on this paper. I love trying different inks. And the expectations in here are, while they're strict, they're also very low. I don't have to write neatly. I'm not decorating the pages. I'm literally just writing a page every day, and I do try and fill the whole page. Every now and then there'll be a page where there's an inch or so at the bottom and I've just run out of stuff to say, or I've gotten distracted and had to go off and do something else and just not come back to it. But every day in here so far for 2022 has got something written on it. And I'm actually really proud of that. So this is my main, most important journal / writing task. Because I have that first one, that A5 out every day, it's also been a lot easier for me to do this particular task. This is a 5-year Hobonichi journal, and it's set up, I'll just show you a page that doesn't have anything on it. Most of you, I imagine, will have seen these before. I am not unique in using this, but I mean, they're popular for a reason, right? You end up with this kind of 5-year snapshot of your life. So you kind of get this longitudinal look at your life. It's like when you kind of cut a tree and you see the rings. You can see how things have stayed the same and how things have changed. And it's really fun because you get to look at, like, if you were to look at the day that it was, you know, a kid's birthday, like your son or daughter's birthday, what did you do each year for 5 years? How did that stay the same? How did it change? And then also just the mundane everyday stuff. It's also so interesting to look at when you see how, again, how it changes and what stays the same over these sort of extended periods of time. So I started doing that this year, and I will keep this journal always with this one. So as I fill this one in, I'll usually fill this one in. And if I fall behind a little bit, again, because I've gotten distracted or something and missed a day, it's quite easy for me to reference the A5 to quickly jot something into this. So again, I'm not going to show you in huge detail, but you can see that there's something written every day for 2022 so far, and I'm excited for this to fill up. I have done some small illustrations in here. My intention was, because you've got the writing space on this side of the page and then a blank page here, my intention was to write in these and then every now and then draw an illustration, and then trust that over the course of 5 years there would be an illustration on most pages. I haven't been amazing at doing the illustrating so far. I have done 1 or 2, but I think I'm gonna go back on a day when I'm feeling arty. I might just go in and fill a few more illustrations in, like, after the fact, because that's something that I have found a little bit harder to make the time for. I don't know why. It's not that I don't want to, I just sort of hasn't popped into my head as regularly as I would like it to. Oh no, I think it's because I sit down at the end of the day and do this when I'm doing that other journal, and that's not a time when I'm going to get my paints out. I think is probably why. It's the actual time of day when I open it up. So going back and doing some illustrations after the fact might be fun. Otherwise, just rather than doing painted illustrations, I could just do pen and ink drawings, and that way I can just do them in bed as I'm writing, and that's not a problem. Yes, anyway, that's me thinking aloud as I go along. So that's my other daily journal. This journal is my one good thing journal, and I would say that this is the single best investment that I make in my mental health on the regular. It's also a mostly daily journal. Again, every now and then I'll miss a day and I'll do it. I'll go back and do it. Like, I don't give myself too much grief if I have a bit of catching up to do. In fact, I often really enjoy coming back and filling in a couple of days at a time on this when I have been busy, because then you get to really enjoy the process. You know, it's quite fun. Anyway, so this is a Hobonichi Weeks. It is a pink one. It's very cute, and I've put this Yuka Hiragi cover on it. I love this art. It's so beautiful. It looks a little bit like it's been collaged, which I really love collage. I do a lot of it, and so it sort of speaks to me in that kind of the shapes and the style is very appealing to me. So that's just on the outside of this plain cover, which you can see here. And there are a range of different covers you can put on it if you want to. And again, I do like to put the cover on covers on the journals that have that get used daily or very regularly, because they do get pretty grubby, especially because I just really like light colors. Like, if I had a dark colored journal, I probably wouldn't worry about it, but I inevitably buy pale pinks and yellows and creams and whites and stuff, and they just get really grubby. So this is just a way to stop that. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of what I've got going on in here. I'll insert some B-roll of some other pages as well, but I'll just have this one open because you may have seen this one on Instagram. I posted this just as a still picture on my grid a couple of days ago, and y'all were very nice about it. So yeah, this one is probably a good one just to have open while I'm chatting about it. This journal is where I make myself write one good thing about every single day. I don't personally connect to the idea of a gratitude journal, even though I'm very aware of the value of gratitude in well-being and things like that. And I'm also someone who's very cautious of the dangers of toxic positivity. So I want to try and steer away from that kind of thinking and instead just make myself acknowledge that every single day has something good in it. And sometimes that good thing is something funny that somebody said on television. And sometimes that good thing is a pretty leaf that I picked up off the ground. And sometimes that good thing is like something huge, like a wedding or a really big achievement, or, you know, the existence of my wife and my kid. Like there's so, like, it doesn't have to be a big thing. Sometimes I'll repeat myself. Sometimes the best thing about the day was the cup of coffee I had, and that will be the best thing next week as well. Like, I'm not trying to be original every day. I'm just trying to, in each day, acknowledge one good thing, and I write that down, and it's as simple as that. And the other thing that I do is try and make these pages pretty, and the process of doing that helps me kind of meditate, I guess, in a way, or just, I guess, sit with these good things. I have ADHD and anxiety and a whole bunch of kind of neurological quirks and personality quirks that make it really difficult for me to do like traditional meditation. Sitting still in a place, not doing something with my hands and being quiet is hell to me. I need to be doing something. So this is my version of that, and it's really good for me. And one of the things that is amazing about it is that once I start thinking, I inevitably find more than one really good thing in every day. And I'm not going to try and list everything all the time, because of course my life is amazing, and this book would be enormous if I wrote down every single good thing in my life every day. But sometimes there are a couple of things that I want to mention, so I will write one thing here and then I'll write another one on the other side, and I invariably end up filling up all of the page by the end of the week, and that's pretty amazing. So then what I end up with is this little book of evidence, of concrete facts, experiences, truths that I can point to on days when the world feels broken and miserable, and I feel broken and miserable, and my brain is saying that everything is awful. I can go, well, no, hang on a minute. I have this little book of evidence that says actually everything is not awful. Like, yes, terrible stuff happens, but these good things also exist. And yes, you live in a body that is like very messed up and always sick, and that has meant that you are often feeling quite stuck and sad, but you also have all of these things to turn to and focus on. So don't lose heart, I guess, is the point here. So it's not about pretending that bad stuff doesn't exist. It's just about helping me balance the scales in my own mind and hold the good with the bad. So, and this is very useful for that. I would describe this next one as less of a journal and more of a notebook. It's basically, it's got a Hobonichi cover on it, which again, light coloured, and also has a cover on it. But in here I have some Midori A5 notebooks. This one is full, and then this is the one that immediately followed it, which is not yet full, but it's obviously been started. So these are my brainstorming and idea planning and sketching out of ideas journals. So they have literally everything in them, from, like, for example, the most recent thing I've done is, this is me trying to plot out a garden map for a D&D game that I'm DMing. and my characters are going to find their way to a Victorian walled garden and or Victorian style walled garden, and I want to sort of get a bit of an idea of the lay of the land so that I can then give them a map. So if I want to sketch something like that out, it goes in here. So this isn't for like creating art in, this is literally for thinking on paper. So you'll find things like that. You'll find like everything from notes about like various witchcrafty things that I'm like, if I'm planning on finding out more about a particular herb that I'm interested in, I will take notes in there. Stuff about like poetry that I'm learning about, so you know, the structure of a particular type of poem, drafts of things. There's even like sketching out ideas for things that I want to sew, like simple patterns that I'd like to make. It's literally everything. And what I love about these, and the reason that I keep a full one and the one I'm currently working on, is it sort of gives a timeline of the creative projects that I have been working on, or the ideas and things that I have been particularly preoccupied with in a particular period. And again, I don't mean to keep bringing up ADHD, but that is definitely like one of the key features of ADHD. We get really curious and fascinated about things and go on these sort of deep dives into a particular idea or craft or skill or whatever it happens to be that captures our imagination. And when I flick through these books, I can see like a record of all of that. And then when I'm at a loose end, I might like go back to an older one and like find an abandoned idea and go, oh yeah, actually that was a really cool idea. Maybe I'll come back to that. Or, I've thought about that since. I wonder if I could change it in this way. So this is kind of like I actually don't know if I have a word for it, but it's just where everything starts. And many things don't get further than these books, and some of them do. And that's really great. I use these Midori books because I love the paper. It is nice enough that I feel like it's not writing on something unpleasant, but it's not so nice that I feel like I have to be precious about it. So it's the exact right balance for me to do the work that I need to do in these books. So this is a very useful resource, and I carry it with me most of the time for when ideas come to me. If I don't have it with me, I'll usually just put a note in Notion and then come back to it. It's not the only place that I store ideas, but it's certainly where I work them out. Okay, so the last thing that I wanted to talk to you about in this sort of lineup that I have are my traveler's notebooks. Now these two go together for me because one has got my current notebooks in it, and I'll show you those in a second, and one has got journaling related stuff in it, so I use them together. They are a bit chunky, but I carry a big bag to fit my journals in it rather than trying to make my journals smaller to fit into my bag. I've got these two here. What do we have? This is just a regular camel cover, and it's got a couple of little adornments on it. This is from LCN Design. It's one of my favorite kind of stationery designers. This little button thing, I believe, is from Hobonichi. Yep. And then this is from Traveller's Company, Books and Traveller's Notebook. Little leather piece there, and I have sewn on a fabric patch to this. I think it's really pretty and I like it, and I want to cover this one in some more patches. I actually have another one that is going on pretty soon, which I love. So that's going to go on there somewhere as well. It's going to get more covered, but at the moment it looks like this. Next time you see it, it may look different. And then this is my favorite traveler's notebook. It is from the Traveller's Factory, Narita Airport. I imagine if you follow other journaling types on the internet, you will have seen this one before. It's pretty popular, and I love Japan. My family have traveled there, and it's the best holiday we've ever had, and we love many things about Japan and Japanese culture. So it's special to me as a place, and I just like the object itself. And then I've got a few things hanging on it. I have this bear. This came in a pack of 2 with a parent or adult bear and then a baby bear, and so I gave the littler one to Artie for on his journal, so we have matching ones. And then this is a Traveller's Company Japan little medallion, and this is from the Starbucks Reserve Roastery. So just cute stuff that I like: coffee, books, journals. Like, this is how we roll. So we'll show you the stuff one first. This is like my essentials for when I'm going to go journal somewhere, whether that's like in another room or at a cafe or at someone's house. Like, this is what I take with me. I have 2 of these B-Sides and Rarities books in here, and these are like sticker release paper. You can see that I actually do use them a lot because they were full, and you can see that there are large sections where I've actually used up the stickers that I've brought with me. I mean, I have loads and loads of stickers here at home, so this isn't like my full collection that I'm keeping in one spot, but these are the ones that I think are quite versatile and that I can use when I'm on the go. The next thing I have in here is one of the card, like business card inserts, and again you can see there are some empty spaces where I have used up the things that I had originally put in there, and I use this for like labels and tags, as well as like little paper ephemera bits and journaling spots. There's a bunch of pages that I haven't yet filled in. So this is a good way of having this sort of stuff handy, having a nice variety of stuff so that like I feel like I've got plenty to draw from when I am out and about, but so I don't feel in any way like stifled by any kind of lack of materials, but it keeps them very like contained and accessible, and it's a good way of storing them for me. So that's really cool. I need to replenish that. Actually, I need to put some more stuff in there. And then I have one of these guys in here as well. Well, 2 actually, a big one and a little one. These are also from Traveller's Company, and they are fantastic for storing all kinds of stuff in. They fit inside the either the regular size, or you can get the passport size ones like this. I used to have a passport traveler's notebook, and I now use only the regular size. However, I'm thinking of switching over to using passport size traveler's notebook for my bullet journal and my daily notes, because I'm in a bit of a state of flux when it comes to my planning systems, which I kind of always am. Again, ADHD. But that is a story for another day. But at the moment, I'm not currently using a passport size traveler's notebook. So this just gets tucked in here for a couple of little extra pockets. So this one opens up, and in here I have just plain paper. So this is, for example, this is torn out of a notebook, and it's got some dot grid on it. We've got some brown paper. This is salvaged, I think, from some packaging from something I bought at a shop. Brown paper is everywhere, and if you like journaling with brown paper, like drawing on it, writing notes on it, you'll never be at a loss for this stuff. It's just everywhere. So I love that I enjoy like doing little sketches on it and things, and writing down quotes and stuff, because then I can stick them into my journal, which I'll show you in a minute. There are a couple of tags in there because they're always fun, particularly if you want to do like a little tip in or something. So that's just, I can reach into here for something to write or draw on at any time I want to. Then in this pocket, I've got a couple of little washi tape samplers. I'll often have some in here that have been given to me from pen pals and things like that. At the moment, I've got quite plain ones. They're just solid colors and grids, but that's very much dependent on my mood and the season and all that kind of stuff. So sometimes you'll see things with a lot more kind of color and patterns and stuff. And then I've got some kitter tapes in here. These are like little washi strips where you can peel the back off, and then it's just like a pre-cut piece of washi. And these are really, really, really useful for all manner of journaling. I'm obsessed with them. So I've got 4 of my favorites in here. Again, they're just the ones that I'm currently in the mood to use. And then I have some others that I will swap in and out as the spirit moves me. So they all tuck in there. And again, like just in this one pocket, I have so much color, versatility, just stuff to draw from. And it's all just tucked away in here in a really compact and accessible way. For me, being successful in my journaling projects, and by successful I mean feeling like my journals are serving me the way that I want them to, and that I'm getting what I want to out of the process. It's all about like removing any barriers to entry, right? Just have what you need around you, make it as easy as possible to just pick something up and jump in, because if you're someone who is very busy with work, or who has a lot of people who are dependent on you and, you know, make demands on your time, or if you're someone like me with a chronic illness, there are so many things that get in between you and this process, whatever it needs to be for you. So if you can make it as easy as possible on yourself, that's where you'll give yourself the best chance of success. So that's what this is about. So in here I have just 2 lots of, there's a couple of little bits of washi stuff in there too. 2 lots of clear stamps. In my pencil case I've got some ink, like a little ink pad, and so I always have ink on me, and then these 2 little stamp packs are a nice way to just add further embellishment to my journals if I want to. I'm keeping this one inside the packaging it came in because these tiny little squares, I found that with other ones in the past that I've had, they do lose their stick, and then once you lose a letter it's really frustrating. So I'm holding on to the outer packaging as well as the protective pieces so that hopefully I can keep them all together even once they start losing their stick. And then in here I just have another couple of little bits and pieces. I've got some just some journal tags and labels with some lines and things on them. These were a gift from a pen pal and I love them. I've got some little tabs. I really like doing like little flip ups and tip ends and things in my journals, and when I do I like to put a tab on them. Sometimes I just do that with washi tape, but it's fun to have these little guys as well, just for something different. Again, not essential, just something that I like. And then in here I've got a couple more labels and things for quotes, annotations, song lyrics, layers when I want layers. So yeah, this one comes along with my other traveler's notebook, which has my actual journals in it. So the reason that I am such a zealot about traveler's notebooks is their flexibility. I'm sure I'm not alone in the kind of demographic of people who will be watching this video in being the kind of person who just loves paper and loves journals and loves books, and often comes up with ideas for a new journal that they want to try. Like, I want to journal about this particular topic, or I need to start a new one for this particular project. And if you have a big fat notebook, you sometimes get, you know, a quarter of the way through and you're sort of done with that thing, and now you're stuck with this notebook that you are no longer kind of interested in or inspired by, and it ends up being like frustrating, defeating, and sometimes quite wasteful. So traveler's notebooks are great for me because they are so small. Like, they're small, they're short, you can use them for like a single project, or you can have multiple volumes in an ongoing project, and that to me is super appealing. Like, I fill them up and start new ones, and that's an ongoing process and it makes me happy. So a full traveler's notebook for me will look sort of like this. This one's quite standard for me, pretty representative of how big they get. Oh, and that's the other thing about them, they don't have so many pages that if you do want to stick something on every page, it will become completely unwieldy. The more pages a book has, the less you can stick in it, sort of, because it just gets so fat. And some people don't mind that, but I do find it quite hard to write on once they get to a certain point. Yeah, I'm able to stick things in because this is the type of journaling that I like to do. I like to do an illustration based on a book that I've read and stick that in with my thoughts about that book. I like to keep the room key sleeve from a hotel we stayed in and stick in the bit from the guidebook about the hotel. I like to draw pictures of the creatures that are native to the place we went to stay and stick them in. I keep maps and menus and all that kind of stuff. So I need these to be able to hold that without getting unwieldy or unusable, I guess. So yeah, that's what these are. So these journals are my everyday travels journals, and these are the ones that I probably share most often on social media and things like that. So this is one that is already finished. So this one lasted me only from March to April. They usually last me between 1 and 3 months, depending on how busy I am, how many other creative projects I'm sort of pouring my energy into. Sometimes these journals don't don't get as much attention because I'm working on something else, and that's fine. It's not like Project Life where I have to have something in there every week or it feels like something is missing. And the fact that I keep my everyday journal where I just write stuff down makes me feel less anxious about making sure I include everything in here. So these are just about our everyday journeys. And sometimes that's just stuff we bought, things we ate, friends we saw, a movie we watched. I know a lot of people keep media journals, and I love those. I think they're awesome. And the kind of content that people put into those, I put into here. So it will be like a review of a book or of a film, or, you know, just raving about like some music that I'm currently loving. So everything is in here. So this is like journeying through life. This is my everyday travels through life. And these are the things that I'm noticing, paying attention to, liking, loving, challenged by, excited for, worried about. It all goes in here. And so these are creative journals. I like to make them pretty. I like to fill my pages up with text. I love other people's journals who, journalists who like keep plenty of white space. I think they look really pretty. But it's just not I just can't leave the white space, and I don't know why. I just really like the look of densely inked pages with lots of stuff on them. So that's what I do. And like I said, yeah, look, here's a little illustration, and you can see this was just a torn up piece of brown paper. I think this was from, like, I just tucked it into the back of my journal, and I had it there. I grabbed it out and I drew this little picture of a penguin because we went to see the penguins down at Phillip Island, and you weren't allowed to take photos of them because it was disruptive to them. So obviously we had to respect the penguins and not get them off course by flashing cameras and phones and things at them. So because I couldn't take pictures, I just drew one and stuck it in, and that was great. Obviously these pictures were taken in daylight, so that was okay. Where was I going with that? Yeah, these journals are just everyday stuff. I call them everyday travel journals because they're a bit like the travel journals that I keep when we go on adventures. So if we're going away for a weekend, I will put it in one of these. Like, I won't start a special journal especially for a weekend trip. If we're going on a longer holiday, like an international holiday, or we're going like over to Perth for a week or two to visit Sarah Jane's family or something, I'll have a separate travel journal for that. It'll still be a traveler's notebook, and it'll probably be stored with my everyday travels journals. But, you know, there's enough, presumably, that will happen on a trip like that, that will fill up a book or more. Whereas if it's just a weekend, I'll probably just do a page or two in here about that, and that will be fine. So the travel journals and the everyday travels journals are very much related in terms of style and content, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And the fact that I'm getting a little bit babbly and rambly means that I think it's time to wrap this video up. I think I have shown you everything that I wanted to show you. I hope you found it interesting. I'd be really interested to hear if there was anything in here that seemed like a good idea for you in your journaling that you might like to try. Or if you already do some of these, or you do things really differently and you want to share your perspective, please do. I'm always really interested in how people do this kind of stuff. So yeah, go ahead and share in the comments if you'd like to. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're so inclined, and I'll talk to you again really soon. Bye.